Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, How to Speak the Language of Sales, with your MAPS coaches, Kara Moll and Ron Wexler. Please note this webinar is being recorded, and you will automatically receive the webinar recording. If you have questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar, if you have any questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's fasttrack@kw.com. That's all from me. Kara and Ron, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Holly. We appreciate that. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. You know, the fact that you're here speaks volumes about two things. First, your understanding that sales is the art of communication, and that when you increase your ability to effectively communicate, your sales will naturally increase. And two, your presence illustrates the commitment you have to yourself, your clients, and frankly, all those in your world. You're already realizing that with each passing day that you have the ability to dramatically impact those in your presence and leave them with more power because of your relationship. You know, our intention in being with you during our time together today is to create an experience that causes you to commit at the highest level to mastering language, allowing you to impact lives and will, of course, close more transactions. My name is Kara Moll, and in addition to being a top real estate agent in Chicago, I'm a market center investor, a MAPS agent and transformational coach, and I have the honor of being the co-facilitator of MAPS and Diana Koska's Language of Sales with my longtime colleague and good friend, Ron Wexler.
Hey, that's me. So my name is Ron Wexler. I actually know a lot of you already. I am the co-facilitator of the Language of Sales program. I'm an operating partner, a mega agent here in Chicago, and that's kind of what we would say within our world anyways, in the KW world. I'm also an investor in some market centers and some other fun stuff. So, you know, before we start and you choose to actively engage in the time we have together, I want to share that Kara, Diana, and I believe that the MAPS Language of Sales system can have a direct and immediate impact on your future, your income, and in every area of your life. So understand that our goal for this short workshop today is for you to walk away with something you can absolutely use immediately. As soon as we're done with this call, something that you can use and that you see the value in committing to evaluate and elevate your current language skills by enrolling in MAPS Language of Sales and playing the game with us. So think about it. We're on the phone with a group of agents, team leaders, coaches, and more. And we're talking about this program that Diana started in 2006 when she first arrived at Keller Williams International, which automatically tells us that we are here to improve our skills. So our time is going to be interactive. And as part of the webinar, you have access to the question box in your control panel as part of the webinar. And we're going to be asking you to focus and think, to write and to share through the question box, and be open to growing through your experience here today. We're going to ask you to get uncomfortable because that's where the growth happens. We know the best things happen outside of your comfort zone. So by being here, you're investing in yourself and in a program MAPS offers. And frankly, we're excited to work with you in an area that is truly a passion of ours. So just take a moment and imagine what will happen to your business when you have the ability to understand, connect with, and influence your prospects and your clients in ways that you're not even aware of right now. In fact, let's just test out this question box. Share what thoughts you had about that. What would it be like if you had the ability to understand, connect with, and influence your prospects and clients in a powerful way? I'd like to just get some short answers to that. Make sure that our question box is working.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'll warn you up front that when we ask a question, after you type in, it takes a little bit for them to load. So if there's a sudden moment of silence, which is rare with me and sometimes rare with Sarah, just know that we're waiting for your answers to populate, okay? All right, so let's just read a few of these. It says, from Veronica, she says, it would take our team to the next level and we'll hit our goals this year. Big time. Better conversion rates. Fulfilling. It would mean more to my agents that are in production, right? It would mean relief. I would feel confident and not scared of objections. I love that. And overcoming objections is a huge part of using language of sales the right way, for sure. More sales, you'd make appointments even more powerful and lead to higher conversion. What else do you see, Kara?
Increased confidence. You get a lot of confidence in here, and absolutely makes appointments more powerful, higher conversion, more money in my pocket. It would take our team to the next level and hit our goals this year. Can you imagine, Ron, if a whole team took language of sales, what that would do to their numbers? Oh my gosh.
Several of them do, and it does make a massive difference, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone on Lance Loken's team has been through it. I know I've done a few phone things with them, and they've been through the class over and over. They sign up for it and take it over and over again. So, but they're only doing 2,000 or 3,000 sales a year.
No, yeah, right. Why would we learn from them, right? My pipeline would always be full. I would be fearless, confident. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting, isn't it, Ron? So here's the thing, guys. Before we really get rolling, write this down. And you're going to see it on the next slide. There it is, mapslos.com. It's where you can go to register for the MAPS Language of Sales program, the next one that we're launching in March. And here's the thing. At some point during this webinar today, you're gonna realize I really do need this as part of my repertoire. I need to learn this new language. Feeling confident would fill my pipeline. All those things you just said. And when you do, when we're done with the webinar, go to MAPS LOS and register for the next section, which again won't be happening till after family reunion. In fact, I think, Ron, don't we agree the timing is going to be perfect, because right about when people come down from that family reunion high and they need that next step to kick them in the rear, we'll be launching Language of Sales. It's 12 one-hour webinars. Exactly. 12 one-hour webinars, 1 o'clock Central every Wednesday. All the sessions are recorded. We've got exclusive Facebook groups. And the bottom line is it's going to give you more confidence, and it's going to help you make more sales in less time, increase your conversion, all of those things that you're looking to do. That's exactly why you should be enrolling and investing in yourself. So let's go ahead and talk about influence. Take a moment, and I'm presuming you all have something in front of you to write something down on, and if you want, you can write it down in front of you, or how about let's use that question box again. Write down your definition of influence. What's your definition of influence? Inspiring change in others. That is it in a nutshell, right? You can see on the screen, we've got the actual Webster's dictionary definition. You know, influence is the capacity or power of a person to be a compelling force on or produce effects on the actions, behavior, and opinions of others. Means making an impact on someone's decision-making, persuading. Brilliant. Everybody, great job. Now here's something. Write down what you believe will happen when you're in a position of influence. What's going to happen when you're in a position of influence? Whatever popped in your mind, that's exactly the right answer. So go ahead and share what that is. So again, confidence, you become a leader. Right. People follow you. I'll be successful. I'll have better control of my destiny. So many great answers rolling in. Love that. So again, we looked at what influence is according to the Webster's Dictionary, the capacity or power of a person to be a compelling force. And look at all the different results you could have. They'll trust you. They'll look to you first. You're recognized as a leader. Wow. Great stuff. Ron?
That's perfect. So, Kara, after coaching for over 20 years and being in sales for over 36, what I've noticed is that most agents tend to talk at clients or give solutions. In the MAPS Language of Sales program, we focus on utilizing language patterns as a way to influence others, allowing them to move closer to their goals and objectives. And you can't truly understand another's goals and objectives without strong engagement. And keep in mind, you cannot influence something you don't understand. So influencing for good presupposes that we have asked enough questions to truly understand the goals of our audience. Asking clarification questions like, what does that mean? Could you expand on that? Help me understand, right? Those questions, asking them allows you to see the world through the eyes of the listener versus through the lens of your perception. So before we move ahead, I just want to distinguish a very important point. Having influence is very different than manipulating. The definition of manipulation is exerting shrewd or devious influence, especially for one's own advantage. At the end of the day, if you're in real estate for your own gain, your buyers and sellers will sense it through your nonverbal communication, and your conversion ratios will drop.
Exactly. And if you're anything like us, you've already realized your ability to communicate at a high level is not a luxury if you have any intention of being a high performer. What's interesting is when I began working on developing my own skills and I thought about communication, I reflected back on something Diana taught me. She said, words are free. It's how I use them that may cost me. Wow. I mean, just take a moment and let that sink in. Words are free. It's how I use them that may cost me. Think about that. You will pay a price to master language. And trust me, you are already paying a price for your current language skills. The question that Ron and I have for you becomes, are you willing to continue paying that price? The limits of your language are actually the limits, or the lid, if you will, of your real estate career. The MAPS Language of Sales program is always meant to teach you to empower your listener in order to reach their goals and objectives. And remember, there's over 8 billion points of view on our planet, and people don't respond to your reality. They respond to their reality. In fact, you might want to write that down. People don't respond to your reality. They respond to their reality. The agent that has the ability to meet people where they are will always control the market. In fact, your versatility in communication is going to have a direct impact on your success. So let me ask you a question. Has there ever been a time when you thought what you were saying made so much sense, and yet your listener failed to understand or to act on your suggestions? Give us a yes or no in the box if that's happened to you. Has there ever been a time? Oh, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Hundreds of you that are on the line now. Yes, 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 most definitely. Yes, it happens to all of us, right? So here's why on the slide. Research shows that we actually hear about 450 words a minute. 450 words a minute is what we're hearing, and yet our brain only processes 17 to 25% of what we're hearing. So people They process information based on habitual programs or the filters they operate from, and this includes you. So clearly you're starting to realize that if you're speaking, the listener, and this means your spouse, your significant other, your team, your buyer, your seller, well, they only hear 76 to 112 of the 450 words you're speaking every single minute. Wow. So it only makes sense that you must become more effective in your use of language to make an impact on your listener and empower them to take action with you. I mean, this is what I truly love about language. You know, through your mastery of language, you can create a great feeling and connection with others. And when people feel good in your presence, they naturally tell other people, and your business is going to grow when you're able to create an environment that allows others to prosper. That, my friends, is done through language. And frankly, that's why the language of sales is so important.
So, there's several psychological factors that are beneficial for you to understand and master language patterns around allowing you to help others get what they want. One way we use to determine what is socially correct. It's to find out what others believe is correct to them. We often view a behavior or a decision as more correct in a given situation to the degree that we see others performing or making it. So the psychological factor of influence is applicable whether we are deciding what to do with an empty food tray in a crowded lunchroom, or whether or not to attend an event like family reunion, or who to use to list or buy a house. So when you understand this principle, you can utilize it in your lead generation, your lead follow-up, your listing and buyer presentation. You'll use it by providing evidence to your listener that others have displayed the same desired behavior that you are seeking. That desired behavior can be meeting with you, listing with you, reducing their price, joining your market center, providing you a referral. The fascinating thing about the language is that you as the speaker have the ability to orchestrate language in a way that provides an outcome, allowing for a win-win. So we're going to work on utilization of social proof and tie a language pattern in that's going to allow you to walk away today with a powerful script you can use to put it right into play immediately. What do you guys think about that? Does that sound good?
I think that sounds fun. I think that's why they're here. Okay, awesome. Right. So there are two conditions for social proof is best utilized under. One, it's social proof is most influential under the conditions of uncertainty and similarity. So let's look at what uncertainty means. So when you're unsure and a situation is ambiguous, have you noticed that you're more likely to observe the behavior of others and accept their behavior as correct? I mean, think about that. I mean, you may have even had an experience of this during your time at a KW event or something like that. I mean, you may have walked into the registration area and observed that there was a lot going on. I mean, people everywhere, very people-y. And you begin observing what others are doing, and then you follow the lead of others. Or you might have been in a crowded cafeteria, you finished eating your lunch, and now you're wondering what to do with your tray, your dirty dishes, etc. In your head, questions like, do I just leave them? Do I take them somewhere? Is somebody coming to get these? What do I do with these? Well, all those questions are running through your head. And at that moment, almost simultaneously, you begin observing what others are doing. As you see them walk out, leaving their empty dishes on a tray nearby, you decide, because you were uncertain and observed others, to follow their lead and do the same thing. This is social proof of uncertainty.
Okay, and then the next thing is social proof of similarity. Similarity simply means you are more inclined to follow the lead of others who are similar. It may have happened to you, again, say at a KW class in your market center. You know, everyone in the room is geared towards learning, and you hear an idea. You think it's a good idea, and you see others writing it down. So you write it down. That's social proof of similarity. So here's an example of what a script utilizing social proof might sound like. Hi, it's Ron Wexler with Keller Williams. Do you have a quick minute? I felt like I owed you this call. You know John and Susan at 123 Branch Road? They own the white split level with the blue shutters. Well, they recently put their home on the market after we sat down and had a strategy meeting. They have a goal to protect their hard-earned equity and decided that the current market will give them the best opportunity to sell at the highest price. Have you thought about taking advantage of this market? So let's see if you guys are getting this. In the question box, tell us, was that social proof of uncertainty or of similarity? Yeah, okay, like 100% correct answers. All right, great.
Oh my gosh.
So you're right.
The smart group. Holy cow.
This is the genius group. So similarity is the right answer, right? Because the listener is familiar with or similar to the people that I was referring to on the other street.
Right. So now it's going to be your turn. Remember, we said that you're going to leave with a script that you can use. Well, you're going to write it. So we're going to take some time here in a couple minutes, and you're going to write a brief script using social awareness of similarity that could be used in lead generation when you're calling your database. So take a moment and craft out a script. And this is the part where Ron had mentioned earlier, we may get very quiet, and it's because we're allowing you to think and concentrate. And when you have your script written, go ahead and put it in the box. So again, you're writing a quick script using social awareness of similarity in a lead gen call to your database. Hey, Holly, why don't you flip it back one slide so that they have that up so that they can use it as an example since we don't have a workbook? Thank you.
Wow, these are really good.
I know. There's some good ones coming in. I didn't want to talk yet. I wanted to give them a few more minutes to finish up.
I know. They get 30 seconds. You get 30 more seconds of silence. We just can't hold ourselves.
Okay, that's about 30 seconds. So again, this is going to be recorded. You're all going to get the recording afterwards. So when we read these scripts, you can go back and visit them because people will often say on calls like this, hey, where can we get a copy of that script? You're going to have it. It's going to be up to you to transcribe it. So Here's a great one that came in right away. Utilizing the social proof of similarity again. What I like to do with my buyers is sit down for a strategic planning session. We get to learn more about each other, and I get them to learn more about what's most important to them in a home. I've not had a buyer yet that hasn't found it helpful in some way. So look at that. You're leaning on the similarity that they're like other buyers, and they will want to do this. So the social proof of similarity. Do you see another one, Ron, that's standing out?
Well, I just love this next one. It says, hi, 60% of our business comes from referrals. Just last week, we had a former client who referred us a $500,000 listing that closed today. I understand you've got several connections in and around the city. Do you know of someone looking to buy or sell? Right. So literally you're saying people refer me business all the time, right? That's the social proof. Our past clients refer us business all the time. So then they can feel very similar by also referring you business. So I thought that was really great.
Excellent. Here's another one. Hey, this is Jeffrey with Keller Williams. I'm calling because I've been door knocking in our neighborhood recently, and I've found that a number of your neighbors have been very curious about what homes are going for in this area. And I'm wondering if you might share that curiosity. So again, others are doing it. Don't you have that same issue? Is there another one or two, Ron, that we can go over that are nailing it?
Sure. All right. How about this one? Hi, Mrs. Owner. I've recently sold 123 Main Street, and I still have buyers who are still in need to purchase a home in your neighborhood. I'd like to meet with you to show you how I can best sell your home and for you to net the highest price. Would this weekend at 2 be good? So now if we wanted to take that one and build in more social proof, right? So it says, I just recently sold a home at 123 Sold Street. So I want to tie them to the other people. So I might say something like, I just sold a home similar to yours in this particular neighborhood over on Sold Street. I would say something that would kind of tie back, right? Just a little, just give it a little piece more and say, as you know, so many people want to live in our neighborhood. Again, just bring the similarity part to it.
Right.
So
I don't think
I like that. Like, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't think that you can use it too much. I think the natural tendency on this is to pull back. And yet, if you were to layer a couple different forms of social proof, that would be okay. Better to over.
And if you're calling your database, right, mentioning that other people from your database are doing a certain behavior is a great way to go, right? So if you're calling a past client and saying, 3 of my past clients already since January 1st have referred me people that want to buy or sell a home this year. And so I was just, made me realize that probably if those people in my database, my past clients are referring people to me, that I should probably be checking in to see which of their friends and family I can help. So I'm wondering, who do you know this year that's going to be selling their home?
Love that. Great conversations to still have. We're still so new in the year. Fantastic. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the script and the scripts you just developed, and we're going to utilize another language pattern to increase its effectiveness. And it's through the use of something we call awareness presuppositions. Awareness presuppositions, they're actually a very powerful tool in communication, whether it's verbal or written. Presuppositions work like an assumption, and they direct your listener to something that they were not previously aware of. There are a number of different presuppositions that we'll be working through in MAP's language of sales, and today we're going to work with awareness presuppositions. An awareness presupposition makes the assumption that something is true and directs the listener to pay attention to something that they weren't previously aware of before you spoke about it.
Right. What's fascinating about the utilization of awareness presuppositions is that the listener rarely will even debate or resist what you put their attention on. So when you use an awareness presupposition, you create a new reality for your listeners that impact the way they actually decide and take action. So the nature of utilizing presuppositions always positions a listener to be in the know, which causes them to feel right. And Kara, you know what Diana says?
Of course. She says people want to look good and be right. And when people feel knowledgeable in your presence, they want to spend more time with you. They want to hire you. Think about what would happen in your business when people just had a strong desire to be in your presence. We're going to give you a few examples of awareness presupposition words and be ready to write them down. And we're going to give you time to write them down. So awareness presupposition of words, again, we're directing people to something. Might start with begin or beginning, notice, noticing, start, starting, become, becoming, think, thinking, realize, realizing, and continue, continuing. And let's just hold that slide there for a few moments and everybody jot down those words, because they're going to feed into the next exercise we're going to do.
All right,
So
so
you
now
should have a good amount. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that was a good amount of time.
Yes.
So let's take a look at how we changed the script that we just did. Hi, it's Ron Wexler with Keller Williams. I feel like I owed you this call, knowing the goals you have to maximize the equity in your home. Do you have a quick minute? Clearly, you're noticing the increased buyer interest in our neighborhood. You know John and Susan at 123 Branch Road? They own the white split level with the blue shutters. Well, they recently put their home on the market after we sat down and had a strategy meeting. Like you, they have a goal to protect their hard-earned equity, and you realize that with interest rates steadily rising, the current market will give you the best opportunity to sell at the highest price. I'm sensing you've already been thinking about taking advantage of this market.
Wow. So let's look at what that script actually does. What did we do in the first paragraph? Ron said, hi, it's Ron Wexler with KW. I felt like I owed you this call, knowing the goals you have to maximize the equity in your home. So right there, did Ron know that? The answer would be no. He didn't know that. He's making an assumption, isn't he? He's making an assumption and creating awareness around that. Clear, and then we go to clearly you're noticing the increased buyer interest in your neighborhood. Well, are they or aren't they? We know as professionals that this is happening, and yet they may or may not be paying attention to it, which is why we're directing them to pay attention to it. We directed their attention to the increased buyer pool in their neighborhood. We use the phrase like you to, like you, they have a goal to protect their hard-earned equity. We played on the principle of social proof, specifically finding something that could illustrate the similarity.
All right, do we have that on the next slide? Is that script there?
I don't think we do.
Okay. All right, good. Then they're just going to have to go back and listen again if they want to hear the differences, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we also directed their attention that they would be thinking about taking advantage of the market, which would speed up their thought process to set a strategy meeting. Now take a few minutes and rework the script that you wrote, utilizing an awareness presupposition somewhere in that script. Before we go through our script changes, go ahead and read through the first script that you wrote, then the second script that you wrote. I'm sure you're already noticing how much more effective the second script became. So take a second, go back to your script and just see what it would look like using the words that are still on the screen. If you insert an awareness presupposition somewhere in your script, and then just reread it to yourself real quick and just see how the impact changed. It would be really amazing if any of you were able to put them up on the question board.
Mm-hmm.
Just give about 30 more seconds.
And again, you don't have to make a point to rewrite the whole script, guys. You can just pick a portion of your script and put that awareness presupposition in there.
Okay, so I'm going to share this. It says,
go ahead.
Hi, blank. 60% of our business comes from referrals. Now, again, I would probably say who the referrals are coming from. You know, from people who know and love us, from people who trust us, from people who know we do a great job, right? I think I would just add that in. So it says 60% of our business comes from referrals. Just last week, we had a former client who referred us, and again, I might say a very happy or very satisfied former client who referred us a 500,000 listing that closed today. You're a business owner. So like you, we know the importance of maintaining solid client relations and listening to past clients. Do you know of anyone looking to buy or sell?
Are there any other tweaks you'd make to that script, Ron?
Well, I think the only other thing is I'd maybe use an awareness presupposition along, well, first of all, at the end, I always use open. Can I do the advanced class in the middle of this seminar?
Yes, that's what I was asking you to do. If we're going to do this, let's do it. We can't let that go. It's important.
All right, good. So instead of saying, do you know of anyone looking to buy or sell, use an open-ended question that the answer can't be no. So instead of saying, do you know of, who do you know considering buying or selling at this time? Who do you know looking to buy or sell? Who do you know right now? Who do you know from your neighborhood? Who do you know from your kid's school? Don't ask a question that they can just say no. Starting questions with do is kind of the kiss of death. And if it'll help, I'll make it real easy on you. Open-ended questions, write this down. They start with who, what, when, where, why, and how. It's that easy. Right?
Exactly. And one more, because we're still looking at this, one more that I would have added was right in where you said, hi, name, 60% of our business comes from referrals. I'd add a awareness presupposition right in there. Presume that they know this. Hey, Ron, it's Kara. I'm sure you already know that over 60% of our business comes from referrals. And just last week, we had a great former client. Oh my gosh, they were so happy. They referred us a big listing that closed today. You're a business owner. So put in there that things that you're going to presume that they know, or you're going to assume that they know. So do we have another one? Let's see. There's lots of them coming in. So we're looking for some good examples. Here's a great one. I'm calling today because I've been door knocking in your neighborhood recently, and I'm sure you've already noticed houses have been selling pretty quickly, and you're no doubt wondering what your own house might sell for in the same market. That gets an A+ in my book. because you use the social proof and the awareness presupposition. Got another one, Ron?
I reach out to several of my clients that are in the same situation as you. So we're already tying it right there. There's kind of a social proof thing right there.
Mm-hmm.
They have started to realize that now is a good time to sell. And then the way I would top this off is I'd say, I'm sure you're already noticing the changes in the market. And I have time Friday around 3 o'clock to discuss this with you. Would that work for you?
Love it. So here's another one. Hi, Mrs. Owner. This is Christy with KW. I'm calling because I'm sure you're noticing how quickly homes are selling in your area. I just sold the home, and I'm sure you're already aware I sold a home at 123 Main Street near you and received an offer in the first 3 days of being on the market. I can't help but think you may be considering yourself selling and wondering if now is a good time to sell. I would love to give you a free market analysis. So is tomorrow at 4 good for you, or would Friday at 3 be better? Again, social proof and just going in there with the presupposition that they know that things are moving on the market and being very firm and asking for an appointment. I love it. I love it. Any others? I mean, we're weeding through a lot of them. There are a lot of you on the call, and we're looking for some really good examples. Ron, were you able to find any more that we can jump on?
One second.
Okay.
All right, how about this? I love the way this one starts. It says, sorry, it just bounced off my screen. It says, hi, this is Christy with KW. I'm calling because I'm sure you are already noticing how quickly homes are selling in our area. I just sold the home at 123 Main Street near you that received an offer in the first 3 days of being on the market. I can't help but think that you may be considering yourself if now is a time for you to sell.
That is a good one.
It's great, right? Like, and again, understanding that when this is the whole thing with language of sales as we really get deep into it, as you're learning it and playing the game with us over the 12 weeks. Literally, when you're speaking, a lot of times you're going right past all of their natural defenses and communicating with them in a way that it's almost irresistible. That they have to respond, they have to react, they have to engage with you because of the way you're using the language. That is part of the magic of it. And when you use things like you're beginning to realize, literally their brain says, oh, I'm beginning to realize. When you say you're thinking, their brain goes, wait, I'm thinking. And whatever you say next, they're going to be thinking about.
It's true. You're telling
the magic
them.
of it. Right. And that's when we talk about 17% of what you say they even retain, you're literally marking the moment they need to start listening for that 17% by using that awareness. You're bringing it to their awareness. That's the magic of it. And that language of sales is just full of those moments. The whole class is like that, where you're learning, instead of using the language you've always used, you're using language that causes people to think and act and participate and listen and engage when you're speaking.
That's it. I mean, that's the word that comes to mind. You engage them. You're not speaking at them. You're speaking with them and through them and engaging them. So I'm sure you guys, by doing this exercise, you've already started noticing how much more effective your second script became than your first. Your first was really good, utilizing the social proof of similarity. And yet your second one became even more powerful because you're putting in there the awareness presuppositions. So, I mean, what could it mean if you mastered only this one language pattern? And again, this is only one of the things that we'll be focusing on in the course. So instinctively, you're already beginning to understand that you need to take advantage of the opportunity to increase your sales through your mastery of language. So in this short amount of time that we've had so far today, we've thrown some pretty heavy concepts at you. What questions do you have? Ron and I are here to answer questions about the language patterns. What do you have regarding either the psychological factor of social proof or the utilization of awareness presuppositions that we can answer? We'll take a moment and let any questions load in. Let's see. So we've got some great feedback, not a question. I can't wait to listen again and let it sink in. And I trust that means that you'll be joining us for moving forward as well. What other topics are covered in the 12-week training? Ron, do you want to address that one?
I could even pull out the table of contents from this giant folder in front of me and just share a few of the topics that we cover, right?
Go ahead.
So
go ahead.
We're going to take you, those of you who've taken BOLD, we're going to take you much deeper into embedded command. We're going to work on modal operators, assumptions, presuppositions, temporal presuppositions, relationship and choice, causality of direct and implied cause and effect. Boy, there's just so much reframing. It's amazing what we go through and what we talk about and what we learn. And I'm going to do a social proof sentence. Is that okay?
Yes, by all means.
Kara, the thousands of Keller Williams and other company agents who have taken this course send me feedback all the time and post on the Facebook page about all the success that they're having constantly from using the things that Diana has us sharing with you in the MAPS language of sales. How was that?
It was a very good sentence, and it's true. It's
totally true.
Other things that we get into, we dive deeper into rapport. We dive into the VAK, are they visual, auditory, kinesthetic, keyword backtracking. There's so much. Pretty much every call, we touch on two different language patterns or neurological patterns that you can use moving forward in your business. There's a lot of content. It's a very content-heavy class, and you're learning to speak a new language. I mean, that's literally what you're doing over a 12-week period, learning to speak a new language that's going to empower you. Think back to all those words you said at the beginning. That's going to give you more confidence. That's going to empower you. That's going to keep your pipeline full. That's going to make sure that your clients are listening to you and you're having influence on them. So all the topics are geared to that. And then there's always a few wild cards that Ron and I throw in there as well. Let's see. Someone asked, what book do you recommend reading about this subject? The manual that goes along with the class, because Diana wrote this class based on her learnings. She wrote this before BOLD, right? Because I believe I took it before BOLD even existed, and I think you
Correct.
did too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
Just so you know, I've taken, before I was asked to coach this with Ron and Diana, I had taken this specific class 5 times in my career. Ron, what did you take it? 2 years straight?
Right. Well, it's funny. I was going to share, when Diana first asked me if I would teach this class, I had done other coaching programs, for MAPS and been a MAPS coach, one-on-one, and hadn't really been doing any coaching at that moment. She said, would you be willing to do this class? And I said, it's my favorite class of everything we do. Language of sales is the heart of everything for where we want to go. And I said, when I first was introduced to it, I took it for 18 straight months. I mean, no break, nothing. I took it. It was a 6-month course then. And I took it 3 times in a row. And she just started laughing. And I said, why is that funny? And she said, I did it for 24 months. She did exactly the same thing. That when you be, and now here we're already very successful, very good salespeople, right? We're already being paid to coach, and we're already very good at what we do. And yet, when we were introduced to it, we go, "Oh my goodness, there's a whole nother level of communication that we can dive into." And of course, if you spend any time around Diana, once you've taken language of sales, you'll be able to say, "Oh, she does language of sales automatically all the time." And the truth is, you'll do the same thing. That when you really master, again, I think of it, it's language, right? The English language, someone taught you the English language when you were 3 years old, 2 years old, 4 years old, right? At the beginning, you probably sounded a little better using the English language by the time you were in 3rd grade than when you were in preschool. And you probably sounded better using it by the time you got to high school than when you were in 3rd grade. Language of sales is the same way. As you take it and internalize it, you'll do it automatically without even thinking, and you'll get incredible results. And sometimes you'll even kind of forget why you're getting those great results. I mean, it's kind of fun. You'll just
it's very true.
Right. After an appointment, you'll be in the car going, "Oh my goodness, there was like no resistance. They gave me 7%, a 6-month listing, priced it at my price when I knew they wanted a higher number, and I still got in and out of their house in 35 minutes. That was pretty amazing." And you'll realize that it's because you were in such good rapport with them that the resistance was almost nothing. And that's kind of the magic of language of sales.
Absolutely. Ron, we had another great question. It says, is the language of sales class interactive as it is here? And are there exercises available offline we would engage in during the 12 weeks time, of course? Yes, it's interactive just like this. This is the format we use. Very interactive. Participatory. And are there exercises available offline? Absolutely. You don't learn to speak a new language. You don't learn to speak Spanish by sitting 1 hour a week and listening to a webinar. You're going to be participating in the interactive webinar, and then you're going to be working on growth mastery week homework during the week, both written, verbal, etc., that are going to help you build those language skills. And we always have a special Facebook group for the current class going on where we can share, learn, ask questions, go over growth mastery work. We use it, Ron and I use it as an ongoing forum for anybody who's looking to really master their language skills. So what's another good question that's coming up? We've got some start dates, some training. We're about to get into that. Again, someone's asking for a language book. Again, these concepts are not from one specific book, other than Diana compiled them all to be in our language of sales manual. Let's see. Looking for anything that we might not have addressed yet or won't be addressing in the next 5 minutes. Someone said, and Ron, this is a good one for, I think, both of us. How do these concepts coincide with the bold scripts? Do you have scripts you've already created that utilize these concepts? Some of you on the call, I'm not aware who's all on, however, might know that I am a retired bold coach. The bold scripts all have various language patterns built into them. This is an opportunity for you to take the bold scripts and build on them, or tweak them to what works for you. You can write your own scripts so much so that they become internalized, so that you're just using the same words over and over and over again. It was the example that Ron gave earlier. You leave the appointment and you're like, wow, what did I just do? That was like effortless. It's because you've learned to use the language and it becomes natural to you. And that's why this is also a 12-week class, because we build on what you learn week after week after week.
Right. You're going to learn to turn you're going to learn to turn your presentations into a powerful conversation with the person moving with you on the same side of the table, hand in hand, versus any kind of a conflict. That's the kind of, I don't want to say magic because that's not a great word, but that is kind of the magic of using language of sales, is that people will be in it with you, following you, joining you, and hand in hand, you'll move towards the price and everything that they want. So, Kara, I think we're I think we've covered just about everything, right?
I think so too. So here's the thing, when we began today, we spoke about the price you're paying for your current language skills, didn't we? Take a moment to really, really get clear on this. Listen, close your eyes for a second and just listen to my voice. Get clear on the calls you didn't make last year because you weren't sure of what to say. I mean, are you really nailing your lead generation time the way that you hoped? Is it going to get you to your goals? I mean, how many of you have a listing that you failed to get just this year alone? And if you haven't been on listing appointments, well, that's an issue too, right? Or maybe you have a house that could sell, yet it needed to be reduced or needs to be reduced right now, and you've been avoiding that price reduction conversation. Or you've been working with that buyer forever and you haven't figured out how to get them to take action. There's a price that you're going to pay for those things, isn't there? Well, the investment that you're going to make to participate in MAPS Language of Sales program, it's $399 for 12 weeks of intense training. And intuitively, you know that you're already paying a far greater price for the leads that you didn't convert and the listings you didn't take. It's $99 a month. How could you not invest it in yourself?
Right. And so it's, $34 a call, right, for 12 weeks. And divide into that the time that you're going to spend doing homework and the time that you're going to spend interacting with us on the Facebook page. And it's really probably dollar for dollar return, one of the greatest values that we have. So, we invite you to join us in our next MAPS Language of Sales session. It begins, I believe, on March 6th.
1 month from today, Ron.
Oh my God, 1 month from today. It's Wednesdays at 1 Central Time. The calls are always recorded, and I'll tell you that, honestly, the people who do the best and get the most out of it and that we get the greatest feedback from are almost always the ones who show up live and participate whenever they can, and also go back and listen to the class over again. And the reason for that is obviously what Diana said and what we talked about at the beginning. If you're only retaining 17% of what you hear, the second time you go through it, the third time you go through it, that number gets higher and higher and higher. So what I would say is if you decided to really participate and play full out with us, you'll turn around. First of all, you'll be telling all your friends they need to come do it. You'll probably take it over and over and over again, which quite a few people do. And you'll realize that, $399 is a joke. I mean, it's a bargain.
Mm-hmm.
So
you know what I realized,
go back
Ron?
What'd you realize?
You know what I realized before you do that? It's the cost of a Starbucks a day. And yet
and
the Starbucks isn't helping me land more clients. I just realized that.
True.
It's the cost of a Starbucks a day. You can be landing more clients by improving your skills. Sorry, go ahead.
I just know that I paid almost, I think, 5 times the amount that we charge or something like that. It was way more, and it was worth every penny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was worth every penny. Diana, we all know Diana always tries to figure out how to bring the most value at the lowest price to the people that we serve. That's why, you can take Bold for $800 and it's probably worth about, in any other world, that would be a $5,000 course. So anyhow, we hope you'll study your notes from today, right? It's really important. I would love for you to get a lot out of what we just did today. Those of you listening to the recording later on, listen and pay attention. Go back and listen a second time if you have to. Take some great notes and come up with some really good things just from what you learned today. We're glad to have you do that. And of course, we're excited to have you decide to join us for MAPS Language of Sales. It's so easy. Just go to mapslos.com, get signed up today. We would love to fill this class soon, and we're going to be starting right after Family Reunion. It's March 6th. It's only a couple weeks away, so you have time to get all your everything in order so you can free up your Wednesdays from 1 to 2. And we're going to have a lot of fun together, and we're going to help you guys make a lot of money and do it in less time. So anything else, Kara?
Love that. No, like you said, Ron, you and I, when we do this class, and we know from our past participants, it's very educational and it's fun. And you guys are going to be learning some great stuff. I'm amazed by the number of people who already said that they're in and they're going to go register. Can't wait to have all of your collective energy together. Be good. See you at Family Reunion, and we'll see you a month from today, right? On the Language of Sales call.
Go get them.
All right. Bye, everyone.